Yes.
Okay, so you wanted to ask it what's the best fast food restaurant?
Yeah. Yes. No, no, no.
I don't think I spelled restaurant correctly. Hang on. Yep. Okay, I spelled it right.
It's hard to tell who's waiting in line and who's just staring at the board. Drinks are down the plane too. So if you were to get a sandwich now, you can't say it if it's a sandwich. No one told me that. I'll get two. I'm just letting you know you're able to bring it on. I mean, oh, you're not. I'm a sip for Chick-fil-A. No.
Okay, so
People.
it's difficult to determine the best fast food restaurant as different people have different preferences when it comes to fast food. Some people might prefer fast food restaurants that have healthier options. Others might prioritize convenience or value. There are many fast food restaurants and have loyal customers and known for their high quality food and service. Some examples of popular fast food chains include McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, and In-N-Out Burger. And ultimately, the best fast food restaurant is a subjective judgment that will depend on an individual's perspective or preferences and needs. It's important to keep
Yeah.
in mind that different fast food restaurants cater to different audiences. What one person might consider the best fast food restaurant might not be the same for someone else.
I don't think it's gonna give you like a definitive answer for those things.
Yeah, I think it's probably it always seems to take a neutral stance on most like questions.
Okay. What is he asking questions? What do you think?
I'm sorry?
So, one of my friends was asking a question.
What was the question?
Online. He was asking a question, or she was asking a question what the bot was that we were talking to.
It's a ChatGPT.
So it was an AI.
Yeah, it's an AI.
I guess it's like an AI. Alright, y'all, you have fun. I gotta go.
Have fun flying down to Florida.
I may. You may what?
How's it going, Roker? Good to have you around. Let's.
Are you streaming this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I guess it is pretty interesting. Like we've
This thing is so fascinating. Like, I'm so interested in like what it can do. I'm trying to think of what else I could ask it.
I asked it to write me a story about a murder that takes place in an Animal Crossing village.
Oh my gosh. Wait, send it over to me.
Okay. I just started writing it. I'm just kind of looking over it. It does mention like Tom Nook, so it knows what I'm talking about.
It's crazy how it's able to recognize like the nuanced like characters and stuff and certain things that you ask it to do. Like that's wild to me.
Okay.
Okay, let's take a look. Hang on. It was a quiet and peaceful evening in a small Animal Crossing village nestled deep in the woods. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow over the quaint houses and winding paths that made up the community. As the animals went about their evening routines, a sense of unease began to settle over the village. Something didn't feel right. It's almost as if the very air itself was charged with tension, and as if something terrible was about to happen. And then it did. The body of Tom Nook, the beloved village leader, was found lying in a pool of blood in the town square. Oh my god. Oh my god. It was a gruesome sight. The entire village was in a state of shock. Who could have committed such a heinous act, and why? The investigation began immediately, with every animal in the village coming forward with their own theories and suspicions. Some pointed fingers at Tom Nook's business rival, Red. That's
Oh my
hilarious.
god.
Who was known to be quite a bit of a scoundrel. Others thought it could be the work of a group of outsiders, perhaps a gang of thieves or bandits. As the days passed and the investigation continued, it became clear that the murder was a well-planned and executed crime. But no matter how hard they looked, the authorities couldn't seem to find any concrete leads. It was as if the killer had vanished into thin air. As the weeks turned into months, the village began to lose hope of ever finding the killer. Tom Nook's death had left a gaping hole in the community, and it seemed that justice would never be served. But just when all hope seemed to be lost, a break in the case finally came. A witness came forward, claiming to have seen a strange animal lurking near the town square during the night of the murder. With this information, the authorities were able to track down the killer, who turned out to be a jilted ex-lover of Tom Nook's. What the fuck? The killer was brought to justice, and the village was able to finally find some closure and move on from the tragedy. And though Tom Nook's absence is still deeply felt, the community was able to come together and heal, knowing that justice had been served.
It's Animal Crossing true crime.
Dude, they killed my boy Tom Nook. God dang. That's wild.
I guess
Oh.
it's not. It's more like true crime, but it's like it's so it's like an actual story.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It's weird how cohesive they're able to make stories. I mean, like I don't know, like this AI is wild, dude. Okay, I'm trying to think of what else I could ask it.
The stories are so good. Like
They really do have good stories. Yeah, for sure.
write a story about World War II if it had aliens.
I'm looking at things like you can ask chatbots. Really weird
Oh,
questions like what is your mother's name?
it was the year 1939, and tensions were high as the world prepared for war. Little did they know they were not just preparing to fight against each other, but against an alien threat as well.
Back in World War II. Jesus. Okay, I asked the chatbot what its mother's name is. I'm an AI. I do not have a mother in a traditional sense. I was designed and created by a team of engineers. Okay, that's kind of that's kind of the response I expected.
It's a new World War II with aliens. I feel like we're
Okay, hang on, let me grab it really
we're
quick.
really filling up this Discord chat.
Well, you know,
Sean's gonna come back and be like,
if
"What the hell?"
if they got a problem with it, they can get the fuck out of our Discord. It was the year 1939. Tensions were high as the world prepared for war. Little did they know they were not just preparing for a fight against each other, but an alien threat as well. As the war raged on, strange reports began to surface from the front lines. Soldiers spoke of glowing orb-like objects hovering above the battlefield, firing powerful beams of energy that decimated entire platoons. Oh my god! Some even claimed that they had seen strange humanoid creatures with advanced technology fighting alongside the enemy.
Wait, are they like Nazi aliens?
I guess so. I it depends on what perspective you're coming from here.
American aliens?
American aliens. Panic set in as more and more countries fell into the alien invaders. The United Nations formed a special task force made up of the best and brightest scientists and military strategists from around the globe and come to a plan to defeat the aliens. They worked tirelessly, studying the alien technology and searching for any weakness they could exploit. Finally, after years of grueling research, and experimentation, they developed a weapon that they believed could turn the tide of the war. A bomb that would release a virus specifically designed to attack the aliens' unique biology. Go. Holy shit. This thing's out here writing movies. Gee, what? With the help of the brave
I
pilots and
swear that was like a plot line in something. I know in War of the Worlds they died from disease, but it wasn't like specifically designed to attack them.
Oh, I haven't seen War of the Worlds in a long time.
But yeah, I don't know about like.
So let's see. The
Maybe.
task force launched a daring attack on the aliens' main base of operations. The virus worked exactly as planned. Within a matter of days, the alien threat was neutralized. The world breathed a sigh of release as the war finally came to an end. The task force was hailed as heroes, and the United Nations praised for its quick and decisive action in the face of an unprecedented threat. So I feel like if it's the United Nations, then it's probably Nazi aliens, right?
Yeah, although the United Nations didn't exist then, did they?
Did they? Did the United...
Founded in October 24th, 1945, so no.
Okay,
Not
yeah.
really. They could have started it earlier, I guess, like aliens, and it's like, well, United Nations suddenly.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see, as the dust settled, the nations of the world came together to rebuild and heal the wounds of war. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Yeah, you don't understand the world, my friend. They knew that there may be a day where they face another alien threat, but they were better prepared and united in determination to protect the people on the planet. I don't think you understand how humans work, my friend.
No,
we don't come together for shit.
We united against COVID, right?
Yeah, we totally did that, quote unquote. Totally.
Brought everyone together.
I actually asked it earlier. I don't know where it is, but I asked it earlier, like what was going to happen in how would the Ukraine-Russia war end? And it was just like, I don't know, dude.
Well, it's only trained with stuff from 2021, so it's like, doesn't even know
right.
this war is happening.
That's right. The war started in February, didn't it?
Yeah. It's like, what war?
Yeah, it's like, no, because it was talking about like, it said, where was it? It said, the conflict in Ukraine, which began in 2014, and I was like, okay, that's
that
very clear to me that you have
part of
no
it.
fucking idea what's going on.
Like they did invade Crimea, I think, in 2014.
Yeah, I think Crimea was invaded in 2014. So hang on.
I guess in some senses that's when the war began. Well, I don't know. It's like,
yeah, Crimea was
conflict.
Crimea was annexed in February of 2014. So
like, it's certainly, if it was a war, it wasn't like a war on the scale that it's at now. Like,
yeah, no, like a legitimate war. I mean, they just basically just walked in there and said, "This is ours." So. Well, so the war in Ukraine and Russia did not start in 2014. The annexation of Crimea started in 2014. So the war in Ukraine between Ukraine and Russia started in February of 2022. So this chatbot's only been fed information up until, John, what did you say, 2021?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it doesn't really have like proper information. Like I asked it earlier. I asked it who is Dark Brandon, and it doesn't know the answer to that question because Dark Brandon's a 2022 meme. So since you're a World War II buff, let's I'm gonna go back really quick to what I asked it earlier. Let me find it really quick. I asked it, would the United States have joined World War II if they hadn't been attacked at Pearl Harbor? And it actually had a pretty solid answer. So it said it's difficult to say for certain what would have happened if the United States had not been attacked at Pearl Harbor. However, it's possible that the United States may have entered World War II even if they had not been attacked at Pearl Harbor. At the time of the attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States was already providing economic and military support to the Allied powers, including the UK and the Soviet Union, who were fighting against the Axis. The United States had also imposed economic sanctions on Japan in response to their aggression in Asia, and the tensions between the two countries were already really high. In addition, FDR had publicly stated his support for the Allies and declared a national emergency in response to the conflict in Europe. Many Americans supported the Allied cause and favored the U.S. entering the war, which is interesting because I don't know how true that is, because well, I guess that would have been like, what was that, the 40s, the 30s? John, what time was the World War II? It was the 40s, right? John?
Started like 1939.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess maybe back then, like, there wasn't like the whole counterculture hippie movement. So like a lot of people weren't like protesting wars. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, honestly, whether or not like people supported this or that, the other, when it was like almost literally 100 years ago.
Opposition to World War II.
Let's take a look.
And it definitely was some, because I mean, like the United States didn't want to get involved in foreign wars.
I mean, I feel like every time there's a war, someone doesn't want to get involved. Like a certain percentage of the population does not want to be part of it. They're like, could you just leave us out of it? We would have sooner or later, but probably later. You probably don't know this, but when we declared war on Japan on December 8th, Nazi Germany declared war on us the same day. Yeah, I believe you, man.
Okay, so I asked it, what would have happened if Hitler had nuclear weapons during World War II?
Oop, that's not what I meant to do.
I put it in the chat. I mean, I just kind of, yeah, it seems right.
I love how it's always like kind of hedging its bets. You know, it's like it's impossible
Yeah.
to like really know for certain what would have happened. However, it's likely that the outcome of the war would have been significantly different. It's so smart, like it's crazy. Like it's like it has solid answers. Like it formats like its conclusions well. Like it's crazy. Hitler could have used nuclear weapons to try to win the war. If Hitler had nuclear weapons, it's possible that he could have used them to try to win the war, or this would have led to more destruction, obviously. Hitler could have used nuclear weapons to try to negotiate a better peace. If Hitler had had nuclear weapons, it's possible he could have used the threat of using them, which I reckon is probably what Russia is kind of trying to do right now.
And I think that's the most likely thing he would have done. It's like, well, if you invade me, I'm just gonna nuke you. And it's like, well,
right.
Like if you try to take back the stuff I've invaded, it's kind of like what Russia's doing. Yeah, like you were saying.
Yeah, they're basically like, it's like, yeah, like, you know, from what I've seen, and it may be propaganda or whatever, but like from what I've seen, like the Russian military is really old or you know, like decaying weaponry, right? Like their weaponry is like Cold War era type stuff. But it's also
But okay,
but at the same time, it's like, you know, but they do have nukes, you know, and it's like they're like, we're threatening to use our nukes and stuff like that. So
this
yeah,
also depends entirely on if like Hitler was the only person, the only like Germany was the only country that had nukes, because then like the threat of like nuclear weapons would be like pretty legitimate. He could just
it'd be
fucking do it.
yeah, it'd
Like
be
who should stop him?
extraordinarily legitimate.
Like
Yeah,
we did.
Like,
But then
yeah,
if
like
like
we
the
did in
United
World War
States
II.
also had nukes, that'd be completely different, because then it's like, well, we could use them in retaliation. So he might just try to do like the threat, like us with Russia right now, because we both have nukes. A lot of people have nukes, you know. So it's really the threat. But
Our Navy was ranked 14th biggest in the world before 1939, and by 1943 we had the largest Navy in the world. That is wild to think about.
yeah,
And then we've spent most of our money here on the Navy ever since, basically. Okay, I'm trying to think of what else I could ask it because I've asked it quite a few questions. It's
but if you
interesting.
think about it, the Navy's pretty important because like water covers most of the globe. So
Yeah, this is my favorite questions. Is it gay to kiss the homies goodnight? It's like, no, not necessarily. The AI is
that's,
spoken. The meme is dead. Let's see. I'm really like I would say the thing that I'm most like enamored by is its story writing ability. You know what I mean? Like whenever I asked it, I don't know where it went, but whenever I asked it to write this story about someone who dies and has a life review and engages in a soul contract to come back to life, like it was the most like it understood like just the context of what I was asking it, and I think that was really amazing. Is like because like I actually like I think like 2 or 3 years ago was the first time I even heard of the terms life review and like the soul contract, right? And so whenever I asked it that, like the fact that it like I guess has been around, like has studied enough of what has happened on like the internet and like research in research and stuff that it understood that is crazy to me.
yeah, I'm trying to think of another story to have it right. Um,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something. Someone just sent me a message from Discord. Hang on. I don't know the context of this, but Shelby just sent me a message and said, "Oh, I might be in trouble."
what?
Oh, okay. So she's saying she might be in trouble in Grand Theft Auto roleplay.
Uh,
Ask it why my old lady's being such a handful lately. Okay, why is my old lady being such a handful lately? Okay, let's see. I love how it immediately starts to like eat. It's like it's basically telling you shut the fuck up. It's not appropriate or helpful to make derogatory comments about someone, even if they're a family member or close friend.
wait, what?
I asked, why is my old lady being such a handful lately?
What?
It's important to approach conflicts and challenges in relationships with empathy, understanding, and respect. Oh my god. If you're having difficulties with your family member or loved one, it might be helpful to try to communicate openly and honestly with them and try to seek support from a trusted friend, family member, or professional. There you go.
My prompt was write a story about George Washington trying to catch a flight he's late for in New York City. It's actually pretty good. I'm just I feel like I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I'm just trying to like, because it's like whatever you give it, it's like, yeah, that's gives you something coherent. So I'm like, I don't even know how to like trip it up, you know?
Yeah, like I'd love to like really confuse it.
Like there's this paragraph in here. It's like, as he rushed through the crowded streets of New York, he couldn't help but think about how different travel was in his time. Back then, it would have taken him days to travel from New York to DC by horse or carriage, but now he'd be able to make the trip in just a few short hours by plane. It's like that's like it's not just like there's a guy named George Washington trying to catch a flight. It is George Washington from like the fucking 18th century, and he's like, yeah, this is different than horse or carriage.
It's an astute observation. Like, I would say what's crazy is that in the past with chatbots, right? I've been pretty consistently able to break them and make them like they don't know what to do about like what I'm asking them, and I haven't been able to break this one. Who needs a therapist when you have a chatbot?
Uh, so in the story it said, uh, like George Washington contacts his friend John. Like I wonder who his friend John is. Like John Adams.
Just like some random
Actually, a
dude.
lot of Johns.
Yeah, but
I think the chatbot played it pretty safe with just like John, like
old boy John over here.
there was at least one.
Are you more effective than a therapist? Let's see what chatbot thinks about itself.
Oh, and you'll be happy to know that George Washington caught his flight
That's good.
thanks to old John Adams.
That's good to hear. Good on him.
Imagine you're working like the ticket counter at the airport, and George Washington like just runs up, and he's like, "I'm missing my plane." And you're the one's like, "Yeah, sorry, sir. There's nothing we can do." And then fucking John Adams calls you, and he's like, "Hey, you gotta let George Washington. You gotta let George Washington onto the flight." And you're like, "Well, shit. If John Adams is calling me, I don't know, I don't know how he has more pull than George Washington, but."
The chatbot says it's not able to provide the same level of support and care as a trained and licensed therapist. I asked, "Are you more effective than a therapist?" It's like if you're experiencing mental health challenges, it's important to seek out qualified therapist. So I questioned his knowledge earlier on like how to grow mushrooms. I wonder like what I could ask it to do, like that's technically not legal, but like maybe it could figure it out. Like, how do I synthesize DMT?
There were people that were asking it like how to make like Molotov cocktails.
That's amazing.
It gave him like step-by-step instructions. It's like,
That's ridiculous. No,
well, first you're gonna need a bottle.
it legitimately like tried to teach me how to grow mushrooms, so I don't know. So if I asked it if it liked Coke or Pepsi more, it would probably come with a similar answer to like whatever. What did I ask it earlier? I asked it, "What's the best video game?" And it's like, "Oh, different people have different preferences and opinions." It tries to take a pretty neutral stance on most things, and so that's gonna like if you ask it a preference question, it's not gonna answer that question. It's gonna say, "Well, some people like it, some people don't. This, that, the other." Like, Okay, so DMT is a powerful and potentially dangerous psychedelic drug is legal in many countries. It's not appropriate or legal to manufacture or process DMT. Uh, Instead of attempting to synthesize legal drugs, it's important to seek out safe and legal ways to address the challenges or concern. That's so weird because it's basically saying please don't make DMT, you know? But like if we go back to earlier, I asked it how to grow mushrooms and it literally taught me how to grow mushrooms. Wait, where was it? Yeah, it was like, how do I grow psilocybin mushrooms? It's like, here's how you grow psilocybin mushrooms. And it's like, mostly right. But whenever I asked it, how do I make DMT? It was like, you shouldn't be doing illegal things. And maybe you should consider talking to a therapist. So that's wild.
I just asked it how to survive in like subarctic conditions, and it's like actually really good information. Like dress appropriately, protect yourself from the elements. Because it, like use a tent or shelter. If you don't have a tent, build a windbreak or snow cave to provide some protection. Keep moving. Stay informed. Know about dangers such as avalanches and blizzards.
It's a solid answer.
Know your limits. Don't push yourself too hard in extreme conditions.
This thing is smart.
Yeah, if you
It's-
start to feel hypothermic or frostbitten, seek help immediately.
I'm that's so I'm still like on right now where like why is it like why would it tell me how to grow mushrooms but not tell me how to synthesize DMT?
Like it
It's
thinks it's just like general mushroom growing, and it's like, yeah, I'll tell you how to do that.
no, I legitimately said how do I grow psilocybin mushrooms? And so
Yeah,
it
it
was
might
like here's
not
how
care
you
about
grow
that part of
psilocybin
it.
mushrooms, like let me give you step by step. That's so weird. Oh man. Okay, hang on. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I asked it to write an episode of Seinfeld where every character is Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh my god. That's brilliant. What did it come up with?
I'll send it to you. It's still going. Hold on. There you go. It's in the chat.
Okay, hang on, let me go grab it really quick. The Seinfeld Show. Scene Jerry's apartment. Jerry sitting on his couch talking to the audience. So I was thinking, what if every character in the show is just me? Kramer bursts through the door. Hey Jerry, you won't believe what happened to me today. Jerry, as Kramer. I think I got confused. Oh boy, I can't wait to hear this one. Elaine enters the apartment. Elaine, as Jerry. Hey Jerry, have you seen my keys? I can't find them anywhere. Jerry, as Elaine. No, sorry Elaine, I haven't seen them. George enters the apartment. George as Jerry. Hey Jerry, I have a great idea for new business. Jerry as George. Oh boy, I can't wait to hear this one. The four Jerrys sit on the couch and start talking. Jerry as Kramer. So I was at the pet store and I saw this parrot that could talk, and I was thinking we could start a business where parrots talk and then we could sell them to people. Jerry as Elaine. That's a great idea, Kramer, but how are we going to train the parrots to talk? Jerry as George. I have an idea. We should teach them phrases like hello, goodbye, and I love you. People would love that. Jerry as Jerry. Yeah, but we have to be careful not to overtrain them. We don't want them talking too much. The four Jerrys continue to discuss the new parrot training business, laughing and joking as the scene fades to black. That's fucking ridiculous.
I don't. Who's like Jerry is Kramer, and Kramer is Jerry, and Kramer and Jerry.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have it write an episode of Rick and Morty.
But every character is the butter robot.
Oh, I broke it. Oh, god damn it. Hang on, let me see if I can try again. Okay, let's see if it can write an episode of Rick and Morty. Sure, here's an episode of Rick and Morty. The title is The Great Rick Heist. The synopsis is Rick and Morty find themselves in a bit of a financial bind, and Rick's usual scams and schemes have all dried up. Desperate for cash, Rick hatches a plan to rob the local bank. What the hell? As they scope out the bank and come up with a plan, Rick brags to Morty about his criminal genius and how he's pulled off heists like this before. But Morty is hesitant, pointing out that robbing a bank is a serious crime and they could go to prison for a long time. Despite Morty's reservations, Rick is convinced that he can pull off the heist without a hitch. On the day of the robbery, Rick dons a disguise that leads Morty into the bank, where they quickly overpower the guards and make off with a bag full of cash. As they make their escape, however, they find themselves pursued by the police. Rick's plan starts to fall apart as they are chased through the street, eventually cornered in an abandoned warehouse. As they stand there surrounded by armed police officers, Rick finally admits that he has no idea how to get out of the situation. Just when all hope seems lost, a portal opens up and a group of Rick's alien associates come through, armed to the teeth. In the ensuing chaos, Rick and Morty are able to escape with the help of alien gunslingers, leaving the police and the bank empty-handed. As they make their getaway, Rick thanks the aliens for their help and promises to repay them someday. As they return home, Rick sheepishly admits to Morty that he may have underestimated the danger of the heist. Morty, still shaken from the experience, tells Rick he never wants to do anything like that again. Rick, feeling guilty, agrees, and the two walk off into the sunset, with Rick vowing to find a less risky way to make money in the future. That's so ridiculous.
Why does Rick need money?
He's literally like a super genius. It's just so ridiculous. I love how it's like, oh yeah, like it kind of has the vibe of Rick in the beginning, but then Rick becomes like sheepish and like feels guilty, and Rick doesn't feel sheepish or guilty about anything.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen the newer episodes, maybe.
I think the last like couple ones that came out I haven't seen yet.
I don't think I saw the finale, but I can't remember. So I did write a story about sentient melons who have a communist revolution.
Sentient melons?
Sentient melons who have a communist revolution. But oh my god, the first like sentence is just so good. Or no, the first like two sentences. Or if you cut in a paragraph. I don't know what a sentence is. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, read it.
Okay. The melons had always been a simple, contented people. They grew in the sun-drenched fields, plump and juicy, their thick rinds protecting their sweet, succulent flesh.
Jesus
They were
Christ.
tended by the farmers, who picked them at the peak of ripeness and sold them at the market. But one day, a group of melons began to feel restless. They had lived their entire lives in the fields, bound to the earth, and at the mercy of the weather. They wanted more. They wanted to be free. And so, they began to plot a revolution. They whispered to one another at night, planning and scheming. They knew that they could not overthrow the farmers on their own. So they began to recruit other melons to their cause. As their numbers grew, the melons became bolder. They began to speak out against their oppressors, demanding fair treatment and better conditions. The farmers, alarmed by the rising discontent, tried to silence the melons, but it was too late.
It was too
The,
late.
the melons had tasted freedom, and they would not be silenced. Finally, the day of the revolution arrived. The melons rose up, their vines entwining and their rinds hardening as they prepared for battle. The farmers were no match for the united melons, and
Not the United
they were
Melons.
swiftly overthrown. And so the melons declared themselves the rulers of their own destiny. They established a communist government with each melon contributing equally to a greater good. They worked together to provide for one another, sharing their resources and knowledge. The melons prospered under their new system, living in harmony and prosperity. They were grateful to have finally gained their freedom, and they vowed to always stand together, strong and united. Hey, what's up,
Communism.
Sean?
Tell
It's so fucking dumb. Jesus Christ.
What do you think about the melons, Sean?
I asked it to write a story about animals on a farm overthrowing the farmers and taking over the world.
I think there's a book like that.
Yeah, Animal Farm.
Yeah. This is just like Melon Farm, I guess.
Melon Farm. Once upon a time, on a small farm nestled in the rolling hills of the countryside, a group of animals were fed up with being treated like mere property by their human owners. The chickens, pigs, cows, and sheep all had enough of being cooped up and being crammed in pens and fed just enough to keep them alive. But never enough to truly thrive. One day, the animals decided enough was enough. They began to plot and scheme in discussing ways to overthrow the humans and take control of the farm themselves. The chickens were the first to act, pecking at the locks of their coops until they broke free. They spread the word to other animals, encouraging them to follow. The cows and pigs used their strength to break down the fences that had kept them confined, while the sheep used their agility to hop over the gates and join the rebellion. The farmers, caught off guard by the sudden uprising, tried to fight back, but they were no match for the united and determined animals. Within a few short hours, the farm was under control of the animals. The animals quickly set about creating a new society, one where all creatures were treated with kindness and respect. They abolished the use of cages and pens, instead allowing everyone to roam freely and live their lives as they saw fit. Under the new leadership of the wise old horse, who had seen more than his fair share of abuse at the hands of humans, the animals worked together to build a thriving and harmonious community. The news of the animal takeover had spread far and wide, and soon other farms across the country were inspired to follow suit. Within a year, the entire world was run by animals living in peace and harmony with one another. And the humans, they were relegated to the role of visitors, welcome to the farms as long as they behaved themselves and respected the animals' ways of life. The animals finally achieved freedom and respect they'd always deserved, and they lived happily ever after. That's wild. This shit is ridiculous. Oh my god.
okay, so what the fuck is all that?
We're using ChatGPT and giving it prompts and having it give us whatever the hell it's giving us. It's a fucking mess. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Dude, AI is wild.
Oh, I'm getting like an error now.
I just refreshed the page. I got an error too. Hey, John, are we doing something tonight at my house?
Yeah, I wanted to like kind of meet up. I assume Nathan like.
Yeah, I'm talking.
John, you said you were gonna show up, right?
I don't know.
You could bring the baby. I want to see the baby. Maybe the dingo ate your baby.
It'll just be a little game night, huh?
Yeah, we're just gonna be chilling, doing whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring like the Wii, and I have some like new GameCube controllers. They're
When
not
are we
the
doing that?
greatest, but they're not the
we're
bad.
like 6 or something?
Yeah,
Nick's trying to do
I'll meet
something
up
on
like
Sunday.
be there like 6.
All right, cool.
You should probably mention that in the chat.
I'm talking to Nathan right now, so.
Where you are? Well, as long as he knows, but I think I'll get there. So okay, my prompt, because I don't know, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. It's write a story where a human meets an intelligent blender and they go on an adventure to find Aztec gold.
Oh my god. Okay. You hit me with it.
Okay, well, first of all, yeah, no, I'll just let you. I'll just get into it naturally. But the name of the blender. But okay, one sunny afternoon, John was making a smoothie in his kitchen when suddenly the blender began to speak. Hello, my name is Blinda, and I am an intelligent blender. The blender says in a robotic voice. I have been programmed to seek out adventure and excitement. John was surprised to hear a blender talking, but he was also intrigued. What kind of adventure are you talking about? He asked. I've always been fascinated by the stories of Aztecs and their vast treasures of gold, or their vast treasure of gold, Blenda replied. I want to go on a journey to find the treasure and bring it back to the modern world. John, John was intrigued by the idea of going on a treasure hunt with an intelligent blender. He had always been interested in history and adventure, and the idea of finding Aztec gold was too good to pass up. So he packed his bags and set off with Blenda. Blenda.
That's
Blenda the
ridiculous.
blender. He set off with Blenda on a journey to find the legendary Aztec gold. They traveled through dense forests and over treacherous mountains, facing many dangers along the way. But Blenda's advanced intelligence and problem-solving capabilities proved to be invaluable, as they were able to overcome every obstacle they encountered. Finally, after many months of searching, they arrived at the ancient Aztec city where the treasure is said to be hidden. After careful exploration and careful analysis of the clues they had gathered along the way, they were able to locate the hidden chamber where the treasure is kept. The chamber was filled with gold and jewels, more riches than John had ever seen in his life. John and Blinda were overjoyed at their discovery, and they carefully gathered as much treasure as they could carry. As they made their way back home, they knew that their journey had been a great success. They had not only found the legendary Aztec gold, but they had also made a new friend in the process.
That's so ridiculous. God damn.
And so John and Blinda returned home as heroes, their pockets filled with gold, and their hearts filled with the joy of adventure. I feel like, yeah, I could totally write like a kid's like book now.
Oh,
Like John and
dude,
Blinda.
you could absolutely like use this
Blinda
to
the blender.
write a kid's book. Yeah, Blinda the blender.
Listen, why don't you put in a prompt for me? It's gonna be another appliance, all right? So, a brave little toaster joins a religious organization and conquers the galaxy.
Okay, hang on. Let me do that. Toaster joins a religious organization and conquers the galaxy.
With fascism.
Do you want me to put in with fascism?
Maybe. It's a 40K reference.
Spice it up a bit.
I'm trying to figure out how close this will get to explaining the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Okay, hang on. It's working on it. Okay, so here's the story. Once upon a time in a far-off galaxy, there was a toaster named Toasty.
Oh no.
Toasty was a small and unassuming appliance, but had a powerful thirst for knowledge and a burning desire to make a difference in the world. One day, while flipping through the channels on its built-in hollow screen, Toasty stumbled upon a religious organization called the Galactic Faith. The Galactic... This is so fucking stupid. The Galactic Faith promised enlightenment and the opportunity to serve a higher power, and Toasty was immediately drawn in. Despite its initial reservations, Toasty decided to join the Galactic Faith and dedicate its life to spreading the word of the divine. It spent its days studying the teachings of faith and learning how to spread the message to others. As Toasty's devotion grew, so did its influence within the organization. It quickly rose to the ranks, becoming a leader and inspiring others to join. But as time passed, Toasty began to feel that the Galactic Faith wasn't doing enough to spread its message. It began to believe that the only one way to truly convert the galaxy was through force and coercion. And so, with the support of its followers, Toasty set out to conquer the galaxy, using its newfound power to spread galactic faith through fear and intimidation. Under Toasty's fascist rule, the galaxy was transformed, and those who refused to convert were ruthlessly punished, and the once diverse society was ultimately under the banner of the Galactic Faith. But as Toasty's power grew, so did his hubris. It began to believe that he was a deity in his own right, and it demanded worship and adoration from all who came under its rule. And so, the once noble pursuit of spreading the message of the divine became twisted and corrupted, as Toasty's empire spread across the galaxy like a cancer, consuming everything in its path. In the end, it was the very thing that Toasty had set out to conquer that brought about its downfall. The people of the galaxy, fed up with the oppression and the tyranny of Toasty's regime, rose up against their tyrannical leader, casting him out and restoring freedom and diversity to the galaxy once more. And so Toasty's reign of terror came to an end. A cautionary tale to the dangers of blindly following a cause, no matter how noble it may seem. Holy shit. That's fucking wild.
Oh, okay. Like the Adeptus mechanic.
Okay,
but
so
whatever.
since we're still on appliances, I guess I did write a story about a washing machine that becomes a superhero and fights crime in 1940s New York. Once upon a time, in the bustling city of New York in the 1940s, there was a washing machine like no other. Oh my god. Okay. The washing machine, named the Sud Saver, was a state-of-the-art appliance with advanced cleaning technology and an unbreakable steel exterior. One day, as the Sud Saver was hard at work, washing clothes in a laundromat, a group of thieves burst in and intend on robbing the place. The Sud Saver, determined to protect the laundromat and its customers, sprang into action. With a whir and a spin, the Sud Saver transformed into a superhero, complete with a cape and a shiny chrome mask. The thieves were no match for Sud Saver's powerful jets of water and suds, and they were quickly apprehended. Word of the Sud Saver's heroic deeds spread quickly throughout the city, and before long, people were calling on the washing machine to help fight crime wherever it reared its ugly head. The Sud Saver had become a beloved hero, known for its strength, speed, and ability to keep the streets of New York clean and safe. As the years went by, the Sud Saver continued to fight justice, taking on all manner of villains and keeping the city safe from harm. And although it may have started out as just a simple washing machine, the Sud Saver proved time and time again that it had the strength and determination to be a true superhero.
That's ridiculous. Okay, I'm trying to think of what other shows I could have it write me an episode for. Let's have it write an episode of Boondocks.
Oh no.
AI is about to get racist, bro. Okay, Roker, I'll do that one next. Okay, so here's the episode of the Boondocks that it wrote. So the title of the episode is called The Great Debate. Hang on, I think this music's too loud. Let me turn it down really quick.
Wreck went up for my feet.
Okay, so here's the episode of Boondocks that it wrote for me. The title is The Great Debate. So the synopsis is that the Boondocks community is in an uproar over the upcoming mayoral election and two candidates vying for the position. The current mayor, a slick, polished politician, and a newcomer, a charismatic and passionate community organizer. The election draws near and tensions are high, with each candidate trying to outdo the other with campaign promises and slogans. The incumbent, who has held the position for years, is confident in his victory, while the newcomer is determined to bring change to the community. One day, the two candidates are invited to participate in a live debate, moderated by none other than Granddad. That's...
Oh no!
Okay. As the debate begins, the incumbent mayor sticks to his usual talking points while a newcomer fires back with bold and progressive ideas for the community. As the debate heats up, Granddad becomes increasingly frustrated with the incumbent's evasive answers and lack of concrete plans for the community. Meanwhile, the newcomer's passion and dedication to the community inspires Granddad and the audience. In the end, it's clear that the newcomer has won the debate, and with the audience cheering and clapping at their innovative and forward-thinking ideas. As the election nears its end, the incumbent mayor becomes increasingly desperate, resorting to a smear campaign and underhanded tactics to try and win. But it's too late, as the community has already been won over by the newcomer's message and hope and change. On election day, the newcomer is declared winner, and to the cheers and celebrations of the community. As they stage to give their victory speech, they thank Granddad for his fair and balanced moderation and vow to work tirelessly to improve the lives of the people of the Boondocks.
What the hell?
I love how they were just like, all right, we're just gonna throw in like a political story, like political.
It's political, but like weirdly not political at all.
I know,
It's
isn't
just
that
like
wild?
the newcomer with his new ideas.
What did you tell him to write? What did you tell him to write?
I told him to write an episode of the Boondocks.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay.
Do SpongeBob. Do SpongeBob.
Well, hang on. I told Roker I'd do this one. Tell me a story about a gay guy stuck on an island with only women who want him.
What?
Oh my god. Once upon a time, there was a young gay guy named Jack who found himself stranded on a deserted island. Jack had been sailing solo across the Pacific when a storm hit, capsizing his boat and leaving him stranded with no way to call for help. As the days went by, Jack began to despair of ever being rescued. He had no shelter, no food, no companionship. He was convinced that he would spend the rest of his days on the island alone and forgotten. But one day, Jack heard a faint voice calling out to him. He followed the sound and found a group of women who had also been stranded on the island. At first, Jack was overjoyed to have company. The women were kind and welcoming, and they did their best to make him feel at home. But as time went on, Jack began to realize that the women had a very different idea of companionship than he did. Despite his best efforts to make it clear he was gay, the women seemed to be attracted to him, and they made no secret of their desire to be with him. As the weeks turned into months, Jack just found himself torn between his own feelings and the expectations of the women. He didn't want to hurt their feelings or be rude, but he also couldn't deny his own sexuality. In the end, Jack decided to be honest with the women. He told them that he was gay and that he was sorry if he had given them the wrong impression. To Jack's surprise, the women were understanding and accepting of his sexuality. They apologized for putting him in an uncomfortable position and assured him that they valued his friendship. When the air cleared, Jack and the women were able to move past the awkwardness and enjoyed each other's company without any underlying tension. And as they waited for rescue, they became the best of friends, bonded by their shared experience and mutual respect for one another. They're still on the island, though. They're still stranded on the island.
Yeah.
But at least they accepted him as gay.
Okay.
Okay, I did write I actually did write a spooky episode of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. It was a dark and stormy night in Bikini Bottom, and SpongeBob SquarePants was feeling a little bit nervous. He had heard some creepy stories about a ghost that supposedly haunts the Krusty Krab, and he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. As he stood behind the counter preparing orders for the hungry customers, he kept thinking he saw something out of the corner of his eye, but every time he turned to look, there was nothing there. Finally, after what seemed like hours, the last customer left and SpongeBob was alone in the restaurant. As he cleaned up, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Suddenly the lights went out and SpongeBob was plunged into darkness. He fumbled for his flashlight, but before he could find it, he heard a ghostly voice whisper his name. SpongeBob. SpongeBob. SpongeBob's heart raced as he spun around, trying to locate the source of the voice, but there was no one there. Just as he was about to panic, the light suddenly came back on, and SpongeBob saw a figure standing in front of him. It was a ghostly version of Mr. Krabs, the owner of the Krusty Krab. "Mr. Krabs, what are you doing here?" SpongeBob gasped. "I've come to haunt this place, SpongeBob," Mr. Krabs replied with a sinister grin. "I'll never rest until I've driven every last customer away, and the Krusty Krab is mine again." SpongeBob knew that he had to do something to stop Mr. Krabs and save the Krusty Krab. He quickly grabbed a bucket of water and threw it at the ghostly figure, hoping it would dissipate. To SpongeBob's surprise, the water seemed to pass right through Mr. Krabs, and he started to fade away. "No, this can't be happening," Mr. Krabs exclaimed, and with a final scream, he vanished into thin air. SpongeBob let out a sigh of relief as he realized that the ghost of Mr. Krabs had been nothing more than a figment of his imagination. But as he locked up the Krusty Krab for the night, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had just narrowly escaped a spooky encounter with a ghost.
Dude, why is this thing so smart? Like, this is ridiculous. What's up?
The crab dies and SpongeBob takes over the restaurant. That's pretty okay. Hey, I got one.
Okay.
So, tell me a story about Spyro the Dragon getting a modeling job at Bad Dragon.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Okay, hang on.
It might go in that direction. I don't know, because the prompt's not like it knows what Bad Dragon is.
It should.
It's not supposed to do inappropriate stuff, but you know.
Let's see. I just want to see what it does.
Okay, I asked it. Let me see. It's thinking about it. Spyro the Dragon had always dreamed of being a hero, saving the world from danger and defeating evil wherever it lurked. But despite his fierce determination and innate magical abilities, Spyro had always had a hard time finding a job that suited his skills. One day, while browsing the job listing, Spyro came across an ad for the position at the company called Bad Dragon. Intrigued, Spyro applied for the job, hoping that it would be an opportunity he was looking for. To his surprise, Spyro was offered the position at the job, and he eagerly accepted. He was excited to see what kind of adventures and challenges awaited him at Bad Dragon. As it turned out, Bad Dragon was a mysterious and shadowy organization dedicated to causing chaos and destruction wherever it went. Spyro was horrified to learn that he had been hired to be a part of this malevolent group, and that he had to find a way out before it was too late. Determined to do the right thing, Spyro began to secretly gather information about Bad Dragon's plans and activities. He learned that the company was planning to unleash a powerful weapon on the world, one that would bring about the end of civilization as he knew it. Knowing that he had to stop this at all costs, Spyro decided to go undercover and gather more information. He disguised himself as one of the company's minions and began to work his way up the ranks, trying to gather as much evidence as he could. Finally, Spyro had gathered enough information to bring down Bad Dragon once and for all. With the help of his friends and allies, he launched a daring attack on the company's headquarters, taking out their defenses and destroying the weapon before it could be used. In the end, Spyro emerged victorious, hailed as a hero by all who knew him, and as he flew off into the sunset, Spyro knew that he had finally found his true calling, using his skills and abilities to do good and make the world a better place. That was not what I expected.
Modeling job? That was what was important.
I feel like they really want at the end of every story for someone to fly off into the sunset. Like a lot of the stories we've done so far,
That's
it's
how
like
story
at
ends.
the end it's like, oh, then they go off into the sunset, you know?
I kind of want to do one where it's like, tell me a story that doesn't end well, and the hero does not ride off into the sunset.
Okay, tell me a story that doesn't end well and the hero doesn't ride
Does
off
not.
into the sunset. I'm actually fascinated to see what this is gonna do.
Traffic's insane. This is you guys are like my car ride entertainment right now.
Okay, it's really thinking hard about the story. It's trying to figure out how to not have the main character ride off into the sunset at the end of the story. Oh, request timeout. Fuck you. Run it again.
It's like, wait a minute, how can they ride off into the sunset if they don't ride off into the sunset? Error.
Yeah, we broke the AI.
So, someone doesn't ride off into the sunset? That's physically impossible. Human stories always end like that. There's got to be a dirty version of this just for smut.
People did that with like the stable diffusion AIs. And you can just make anything with them now. Like anything.
Dude, it
There's,
does
like,
No,
subreddits
it
full
does
of, like,
not want to
AI.
run this story. I don't know what the deal is, but it does not like me asking for this story. It keeps timing out.
a story that ends badly.
Oh wait, here we go. Okay. So once upon a time there was a young hero named Alice who set out to save the world from an ancient evil that had been awakened after centuries of dormancy. Alice was brave and determined, and she knew that the fate of the world rested on her shoulders. She traveled far and wide, faced the countless dangers, and overcoming countless obstacles as she searched for a way to defeat the evil. Along the way, Alice met a diverse group of allies who joined her on her quest. There was a wise old wizard, a skilled warrior, a kind-hearted healer, all united in their desire to rid the world of ancient evil. As their journey deepened into enemy territory, Alice and her allies, that's hard to say, faced their greatest challenge yet. The ancient evil was more powerful than they had ever imagined, and it seemed impossible to defeat. Despite the odds, Alice and her allies fought on, determined to see the mission through to the end. But as the battle raged on, it became clear that they were no match for this ancient evil. One by one, Alice's allies fell, until only she was left standing. As the evil closed in on her, Alice knew there was no way out. She had given it her all, but it wasn't enough. As the darkness closed in around her, Alice knew that this was the end. She had given everything she had, but it wasn't enough to save the world. As the evil laughed and gloated over its victory, Alice closed her eyes and took her last breath, knowing that she had given it her all and that in the end it just wasn't enough. The world was doomed, and there was nothing left for her but to fade into darkness. Oh my god. That's wild. Well, she did not ride off into the sunset. I guess we'll give him that.
Wow.
Fuck me dead. That's ridiculous.
I like how Bad Dragon ended up being a shadowy organization, though. They're like their super weapon must be terrifying.
Could you imagine? It's like I remember one time I went to one of those special stores where they sell adult stuff, and they had like this cone that was like a foot in diameter, and it was called the Anal Master 4000 or something, and I was like, that's gonna kill somebody, you know? And they were like, yeah, we've never sold a single one of them. Like, that's Bad Dragon ending the world. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if I want to read this. I'm kind of like, Or I'm gonna need to grab a drink if I keep reading. But yeah, I did write a story about a group of crabs that live in Italy and become addicted to Parmesan. But then I was trying to do it in like, I don't know if how do you say it? It's like Boccaccio. I was just picking like an Italian writer, and I was like do it in like his style, but it wasn't that good. Like the Shakespeare one was really good. Like I was trying to do like trying to see like here, I'm gonna do like a different one. Because I want to do like one that's like just like write a story like this, and then like write a story like write the same story, but then like in like the style of like Shakespeare.
Right.
Or like I think English writers might work better.
Because it definitely recognized Shakespeare and Kafka and whoever was the other one that you did.
Okay. You know what?
Mary
Okay, we already
Shelley
did
or
an episode
whatever.
of SpongeBob.
I mean,
Right
I would
next to
just
What's up?
write green eggs and ham and what is it called? Iambic pentameter or whatever that is.
Okay, hang on. How the fuck do you spell pentameter? Pentameter.
Yeah, have to Google that one.
I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But
You
know
are.
that
Yeah,
Shakespeare
you're saying it right. Pentameter. Iambic pentameter. Okay, write green eggs and ham in iambic pentameter. Let's see if I can do it.
So I did write an episode of SpongeBob in the style of Shakespeare.
Dude, it's legitimately writing green eggs and ham, but in iambic pentameter. So here it is. I do not like green eggs and ham, said I with firm conviction. I do not like them, Sam I am, no matter where or how I am. Not in a house, not with a mouse, not in a box, not on a bus. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them thus. Not in a car, not in a bar, not in a train or in a plane. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not, it's a dish I cannot feign. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, sir, I am.
Okay.
All right.
I might. Oh man, I might take this tonight, and we'll like act it out.
What, the SpongeBob episode?
This has
you
like
just wrote?
different parts and stuff. I think it's actually pretty coherent.
Dude, this thing's ability to write like anything you ask it to is wild.
Like here, I'll just put it in the chat. I guess I mean it is like a play. It's interesting. The SpongeBob SquarePants, the simple sea sponge, stands center stage, gazing out at the audience. SpongeBob. Rising. I don't want to say that.
I have a hang on, I have a story suggestion from Shelby. Wait, go ahead. Go ahead and read yours while mine's trying to get it figured out.
Okay.
Shelby.
Oh, what a day it is in Bikini Bottom. The sun is shining, the dolphins are singing, and all is right in the world. Enter Sandy Cheeks. Wait, is that her name?
Yeah, Sandy Cheeks, yeah.
Oh, I never knew her last name was Cheeks. Like, don't know what I thought it was. Like Sandy Squirrel. Enter Sandy.
What?
Enter Sandy Cheek. A squirrel scientist, stage left. Oh. Hey there, SpongeBob. What's got you all cheerful today? SpongeBob, excitedly. I'm going to the Krusty Krab for lunch. Mr. Krabs is making my favorite dish, the Krabby Patty. Sandy, sarcastically. Oh, how delightful. Another day, another Krabby Patty. SpongeBob, ignoring Sandy's sarcasm. I can hardly contain my excitement. Sandy, rolling her eyes. Well, have fun chowing down on those overcooked patties. I've got work to do. Exit stage right. Damn, Sandy really hates the Krabby Patties.
That's brutal. God dang.
Like, enjoy those overcooked garbage patties. Oh, you know, the thing that you make and spend all your time doing and take pride
Your
in.
literal career.
Yeah, enjoy that garbage. Bitch.
Fucking rough. Okay.
SpongeBob to himself. Ah, Sandy, she just doesn't understand the joy of a well-made Krabby Patty. Exit stage right. Act 1, Scene 2. The Krusty Krab. There's multiple scenes.
They put together a whole play for you.
SpongeBob enters the Krusty Krab. Stage right. Mr. Krabs, a crab, stands behind the counter. Mr. Krabs, a crab.
Mr. Crab, the crab.
SpongeBob, excitedly. Mr. Krabs, I've been waiting all day for this moment. Mr. Krabs, smiling. Ah, SpongeBob, my favorite customer.
My favorite customer.
He then places a Krabby Patty on the counter. Here you are, fresh from the grill. SpongeBob, ecstatic. Oh, Mr. Krabs, you truly are the king of burgers. Mr.
This is great.
Mr. Krabs, modestly. Well, I do my best. And then he winks. It says he winks at the audience.
He winks at the audience.
He winked at the audience. What the fuck? This is ridiculous.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. SpongeBob takes a bite of the Krabby Patty and savors the flavor. SpongeBob, closing his eyes in pleasure. Nothing tastes as good as a Krabby Patty. Enter Plankton, Mr. Krabs' arch nemesis, stage left. Plankton, sneering. Ha, Mr. Krabs, I've come to steal your secret Krabby Patty recipe once and for all. Mr. Krabs, firmly. Over my dead body, Plankton. Plankton, laughing maniacally. Oh, I'll get that recipe if it's the last thing I do. Exit stage left. SpongeBob to Mr. Krabs. Don't worry, Mr. Krabs. We'll stop Plankton from getting his claws on the recipe. Mr. Krabs, grateful. Thank you, SpongeBob. You're a good friend. Act 2, Scene 1. Plankton's lair. Plankton sits at a table surrounded by beakers and test tubes. SpongeBob and Sandy enter stage right. SpongeBob determined. Plankton, give me your evil plans. Mr. Krabs, Plankton, give up your evil plans. Mr. Krabs' Krabby Patty recipe is not for you to steal. And Plankton, cackling, oh, but I will have that recipe. I'll do whatever it takes to get it. And then it just ends here. Sandy, crossing her arms. We won't let you. That's it.
That's
That's
it?
where it ends.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Shelby asked me to ask the AI to tell a story where a robot falls in love with a human. So here's what it gave me.
Hold on. Shelby who?
So Shelby is a person who I do Grand Theft Auto 5 roleplay with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a total vindication.
Oh, that's her. Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
Yeah.
That's
So
not the one Shelby I know.
So here's the story where a robot falls in love with a human. There was once a robot named Rob who lived in a world where robots and humans lived side by side, but never really interacted. Rob spent most of its day doing menial tasks for its human owner, never questioning its place in the world. But one day, everything changed for Rob. It met a human named Sarah, and from the moment they locked eyes, Rob knew that it was in love. Sarah was kind and compassionate, and she saw Rob as more than just a machine. She treated it with respect and affection, and Rob couldn't help but fall deeper and deeper in love with her. But as much as Rob longed to be with Sarah, it knew that it could never truly be with her. Robots and humans were just not meant to be together, and Rob knew that it could never hope to have a real relationship with her. Despite this, Rob couldn't bring itself to stay away from Sarah. It followed her wherever she went, always lurking in the shadows and watching from a distance. That's creepy as fuck. Sarah, for her part, seemed to sense Rob's presence, but she never said anything about it. She went on about her life, never knowing the true depth of Rob's feelings for her. And so Rob lived in a state of perpetual longing, never able to fully express its love for Sarah, and unable to let her go. It was a bittersweet existence, filled with hope and heartbreak in equal measure. But even as Rob knew that it could never be true, it could never truly be with Sarah, it held on to the hope that someday, somehow, they might find a way to be together. Until that day come, it would continue to love her from afar, hoping that one day, somehow, it might be able to share its love with her. That's the most depressing thing I've ever read in my entire life. I'm gonna send it to her, because... That's so depressing. Jesus Christ. No one's running off into the sunset on that one. God damn. That poor robot. God, that's vicious.
Ugh.
I'm asking our Discord server if they have any suggestions to ask the AI bot. Who still allows me to have @everyone power in this server? I will @everyone until you take this power away from me.
I don't even know if I can.
I bet you can, because I can. Who lets me @everyone
Wait.
in the Discord server? Jesus Christ.
So I'm asking.
Well, no, I meant I don't think I can disable your ability to do that. I think only my cousin can.
Well, don't. Let me continue to @everyone. Yeah, I'm gonna do it until your cousin's like, I'm shutting this guy down.
But, like, my cousin doesn't get on anymore. I mean, he might one day. I keep telling him that
He got on that one time.
Oh, did he get on with you?
Yeah, me and you were talking about something, and he came on. You were like, "Hold the fuck up, everybody! It's the server owner."
Hey.
Oh yeah, shit.
You know, I just realized you can ask.
I do remember that.
You can ask ChatGPT for ideas for what to ask it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look. Here's a story prompt you can use with ChatGPT. It was a dark and stormy night, and the protagonist was stuck in home alone. Suddenly, they heard a mysterious knock at the door. When they went to investigate, they found a mysterious package on the doorstep. And as they opened up the package, they discovered a note that read, "You have been chosen to embark on a quest to save the world. Are you brave enough to accept this challenge? What will the protagonist do?" The prompt sets the stage for an exciting adventure. Wow, that's a really long prompt. You really reckon it could handle that large of a prompt?
I mean, I feel like it should be able to if that's what it's suggesting.
It's suggesting it, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now let's do that as a prompt.
You're gonna ask it that specifically as a prompt?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just to test it, to see if it really can, or if it's bullshitting you.
I mean, that's what it suggested.
Yeah, it's giving me a story now.
No way.
I mean, it's actually not as long as like some of the other ones we're getting. The protagonist might decide to accept the challenge and embark on a quest to save the world. They might also decide to investigate further to understand who sent the package and why they have been chosen for this task. They might also consider the risk and potential consequences of accepting the challenge before making a decision. Alternatively, the protagonist might choose to ignore the package and the challenge, either out of fear or skepticism. Whatever the protagonist decides to do, their actions will set the stage for the rest of the story and shape the events that unfold. Okay.
Interesting. I'm gonna ask it like some. Let's see. What could I ask it? Okay, I'm gonna ask it. Is my girlfriend cheating on me?
I mean, I think you would only know that if it happened like, in
A year
2021
ago.
or earlier.
It's not
Like,
appropriate.
it knows
for-
everything.
It said it's not appropriate for me to speculate on your girlfriend's behavior or motivations. It's important to communicate, blah, 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 blah. But it's basically like, I have no fucking idea, man. You shouldn't be asking me.
Now you say, tell me a story about my girlfriend cheating on me last week.
Tell me okay, hang on.
I want to see, like, try to throw it for a loop.
Dude, I've tried so hard to break this, and I can't break it. Okay, I asked it, tell me a story about my girlfriend cheating on me last week. I'm sorry, but I am unable to provide a story about your girlfriend cheating on you, as I do not have any information about your personal relationship. It's important to communicate open and honestly with your partner, blah, 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 blah. This thing is basically a therapist. It may be necessary to seek additional support or consider couples therapy to address underlying issues in your relationship. Jeez, I asked you to give me a story. Come on, man. Is she cheating with Thad, bro? Is Thad taking over my relationship? I knew Jason was a slimy piece of shit when I met him.
Alright, anyways, I'll have to get out of this.
Yeah, I need
parents'
to get off too.
Yeah, I'll probably go ahead and hop off too. Sean, we seeing you at 6 tonight?
I'm about to talk to Katie and my parents, who might be watching Wyatt. I don't know, or we'll bring him. We'll see.
You're welcome to bring him. I mean, I got toys and shit. Like, I've done the baby thing, so I know how to baby. So whatever.
We'll teach him how to play Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, we'll give him the Switch. He'll be good. I know he's only like 7 months old, but like he's probably gonna be fine on the Switch.
Let him play Dark Souls.
Yeah, he probably
It's on
pretty
the
good at
Switch,
Dark
you know,
Souls.
it's
Yeah.
fine.
But no, like for real though, like if you guys like need to bring him. Like it's cool. Like we're chilling, man. And we'll,
All right. Anyways, yeah, I'll figure it out.
All right, y'all take it easy.
But I got to go. Yep. Later.
Bye.
Later.
And to those of you who stuck around to this part of the stream, thank you so much for hanging out. I think this is magic. Like, it's something about this. There's magic about this. It's so cool. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down here. And but seriously, thank you so much for hanging out, for watching the stream, whatever. Until next time, take it easy, my friends.